Our SDG will raise awareness, do not be frustrated if things don't go your way. Things will get better in time.
It's not as simple to get what we need.
A lot of factors affect our choices and options, but a person who embodies self-determination and freedom when faced in this kind of situation strive hard.
So it was really stressful and very hard.
People can make their own choices because it is their right to do so.
Good day to all our listeners out there. I am Jinky Stephanne Arles.
And I am Alexa Calora.
And welcome to JELLABOcast! So, in today's episode, we would be talking about the lack of access and technology here in the Philippines, particularly in our local community, and also how we can relate it to our topics in Christian morality.
You know what, Jinky? That's actually an interesting topic because we get to see the effects on this for us students and we could synthesize and reflect on it. And with this, it would be helpful also to express the people's concerns as well.
That's right, Alex. I'm also excited to talk about this topic, especially that we have our guest with us today.
That's right. We have Miss Timbreza, Mr. Boaz Bordalba, and our online guest, Miss Jay Lim.
Hello, Jinky. Hello, Alex. Thank you so much for inviting me to your podcast.
Hi everyone, thank you for having us.
Hello, good evening. Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much for coming here in our podcast. Jinky and I truly appreciate your presence right now.
Yes, thank you so much for accepting our invitation. So in this episode, we would be talking about SDG 9, which is Industry, Innovation, and Infrastructure. So to be enlightened, let's ask here Miss Cassie about her insights and her thoughts.
Once again, thank you for having me as your guest here on JELLABOcast. Well, for a fact, only the educational institutes utilize their technologies for educational purposes. Although, there are few available options to opt in terms of having access to it. There have been reports that students don't have equal access to these advancements, which leads to them having trouble complying to their tasks, which disrupts their learning process. We were surprised to hear that there have been a lot of similar situations reported that there are some people experiencing lack of resources or technologies. In fact, a poll from an article we found taken from November 21 to 25 last year found only 58% of enrolled school aged 5 to 20 years old Filipinos who are using devices for distance learning. On the other hand, the percentage of those who use already owned devices was higher in Metro Manila and Luzon. The 36% for Metro Manila and 30% for Luzon, then in Visayas and Mindanao. Visayas was 20% and Mindanao was 23%.
Right. Your insights are actually on point and we've all now have an idea where these issues are coming from. But have you encountered or have you heard any experiences from others related to this issue?
Actually, I am one of the students that are affected by this kind of problem where we lack resources. There have been times that I had to look for a place and ask my friends where I can use or borrow laptops or printers and such. Usually, right like at school, we have a lot of projects and tasks, and most of them required to use technologies. So it was really stressful and very hard.
Yeah, I do agree with that. Like, we who have decent access to technology is already having a hard time in doing our tasks. How much more to those people who lacks access to it? Now let's ask Jay on what she can say.
As for your question, what I can say about the issue is that, the issue is something that we are all struggling with, especially us students and of course our teachers. And not everyone is privileged to have gadgets and a stable Wi-Fi like we do. And though it is a known problem, we don't really have enough resources or the proper resources to help our fellow students. And as students ourselves, as Athenians, we understand the importance of education and how children, teens, and adults all need education. Everyone has a right to have education, and because of our circumstances that we are facing in the time of our pandemic, it has become more difficult for everyone. And as Athenians, as I have previously mentioned, we will find a way to help our fellow students get over this problem.
So, what do you think about the importance of SDG 9 to Christian morality and to our topics that we have discussed?
That's an interesting question, Alexa. I think the importance of our SDG 9 to the topics that we have discussed in Christian morality is that hopefully our SDG will raise awareness to a lot of students and other people that could possibly help us, and other people who are experiencing the same problem but they do not have the voice to reach out to bring up this kind of situation, because most likely not everyone is interested in it. And then it's also for us to be able to find a possible way or a possible solution that could hopefully help our fellow students and of course our teachers as well. And as I mentioned previously in my answer to the first question, everybody needs education, and education is important, and that everyone has the right to have education. This problem really needs to be addressed because students do what they can do to try and finish their modules and be a part of the lessons in an online class. And some share devices. I think I have mentioned it before. If not, I'm sorry. Some share devices with their siblings, and personally, I have experienced something like that. The problem is I have a little sister, and I was being told that I have to help her with her modules and her lessons, and I have to teach her myself. And I didn't know what to prioritize, so I ended up prioritizing her before my own, which was quite a problem on my end because I set aside my responsibilities and put my sister first. And it really is quite a struggle, and I believe that the SDG will be the one, our SDG will be the one that could help address this issue, because as I mentioned, sharing devices and having difficulty with the Wi-Fi itself is really quite a hindrance to the things that we students need to accomplish, and of course for teachers that need to teach the students the lessons. That's all from me.
Alright. I would also like to share my insights about this by focusing on how human freedom affects the choices that people make in this situation. We may include the absence of technology in our country in this conversation. For instance, if given the option, we occasionally have the choice or the opportunity to obtain technology, but for a variety of reasons, it's not as simple to get what we need.
Yes, I agree. A lot of factors affect our choices and options, but a person who embodies self-determination and freedom when faced in this kind of situation strive hard. They will not let this kind of issue hurdle them to reach their success.
Yeah, freedom of self-determination can do a lot to alter the course of our decisions.
You know, human freedom is a choice made by one person if they are given something. People can make their own choices because it is their right to do so. Most people tend to do and make their own choices because that's what they want to do. The issue relates to the topic of freedom because a lot of people won't have the freedom to search and learn knowledge from their devices due to the lack of technology. This is a difficult problem because it is hard to get educated and have freedom to learn without having a device to use.
Yeah, we certainly agree with that.
Yeah, although freedom is something that is vital in this issue, we can also relate it to natural and human law.
Right. In the Philippines, our laws were certainly derived and considered the natural and human law in trying to find probable solution for this dilemma.
That's true. Natural law encompasses that our law should be based on morality, ethics, or what is essentially good.
On the contrary, human law is also about the common good, which may or may not be reflected the natural law.
Yes, that's right. Though in the end, isn't it all about conscience?
Yeah,
That's right.
That's right.
The government has been trying to aid the situations by implementing projects to somehow ease and help those who are affected, well, technically us.
To help the situation, it really helps if everyone has a correct conscience. The situation would be better if everyone is considerate of others.
Honestly, yes, that's right. It would really ease the situation if everyone is kind and considerate. When everyone uses their conscience, it would be a lot better.
Now, guys, it's sad to say that we've reached the end.
I wish we could have more time to talk about it, but what can you say to our viewers and listeners?
Everyone is experiencing different difficulties and challenges. We should all be kind and practice moral values in handling this kind of situations.
Yeah, I agree. I would just like to add that to those students like us who have trouble accessing technology, don't be hindered by it. Always be driven by your freedom and self-determination.
I agree with you, Boaz and Cassie. Despite some challenges that us students face, we always try our best to find a solution to every problem that we encounter because we are going towards the stage of adulthood, and by the time we're out there in the world with our own jobs, we are on our own. There's not much people that can help us but ourselves, and this is like a very good training for us to have, especially on how we handle our problems. And yeah, and like with the things I have mentioned, students are determined to find solutions, and by that, especially in our time of the pandemic, we're in a new normal now, slowly going back to our old ways, but technically we're still in the pandemic, and some people are still going to classes online. And for those who are still going online, I'm sure they are finding ways to, attend their online classes, such as going to places that have Wi-Fi, and then of course sharing gadgets with their siblings or other people who are using that one gadget. And I'd like to say that for those who are struggling with this situation or with this problem, I'd like to say that you are not alone. Do not be discouraged. There are many people struggling with the same thing, and there are also many people who are trying to find a solution to help those who are struggling, so that things will be better, things won't be too difficult for you. And yeah, many people are out there trying to help lessening this problem, and that and I'd like to say that that not just students. This talk is not only for students actually, but in my opinion, it's also for teachers, because teachers work very hard to make modules, lessons, and of course to teach their students, and that takes quite a while. It takes a lot of effort, and we have to appreciate our teachers as well. And aside from that, please do not be frustrated if things don't go your way. Things will get better in time, and that you will learn from it. And I hope that to those who listen, they are inspired, and that they have also learned something from this podcast talk. I hope that not only have we inspired you and that you have learned something, I hope that other people out there are touched to help us. Not just us actually, but everyone who are in need. And I just hope that kindness will continue to spread rather than negativity and violence, because in my opinion, the world is definitely better if we show compassion and kindness towards everyone, because that is what God taught us to do. So let us be a friend to those who are in need, and basically just to anyone else. And yeah, that's it for me.
Wow, what a wonderful insights that our listeners can ponder on.
Yes, thank you so much to our guests who are with us today. I know that our listeners got a lot of insights to ponder on.
Sadly, we have to end it here, but see you in the next episode of JELLABOcast! Adios!